Hello, my friends. We are painting. What are we painting today? We are painting kind of a fall themed, but like foresty, piney painting. We are back into the pine trees. Can I get a hip hip hooray for that? I have no idea if it's been a while because I have been painting like 6 months ahead of uploading, so I don't even know what's live anymore and what is. Anyway, like it is the beginning of May and I am already painting October. So you're gonna start out with just a light wash. It can be brown, it can be yellow, it can be kind of a mix of the two, but we just want kind of a pale haze to dominate our background for this painting. And it's going to be like a reflection on a lake, which should be neat. But I typically make the mistake of forgetting to do like a background color. But I think it's very important because it looks better than just white, like a white unpainted background. So we have to let this completely dry before we move on to the next step. Okay, my friends, so this, I hope, is dry. That is the hope. Now we are going to take basically a darker version of what we used for the background there. I just have to remake it because I honestly just blended a bunch of colors that were already on my palette. Like, I am not joking. This is what my palette looks like right now. It is just full of random colors, and sometimes I just use whatever's there and it works out, which is another reason, another like point towards you guys not needing to know the color names, because half the time it's just a blend of random colors. So we're gonna paint a little, what would you call it? I don't want to say it's a mountain, but that's what it's gonna be. Kind of like a mountain in the background. And you don't have to worry about the horizon line or the bottom of this because it's all gonna be kind of blended together anyway. But what I do want to do, see, it's not completely dry at the top there. Very annoying. But I mean, you should expect this from me at this point. I've taken a smaller brush than what I used to paint this mountain, and I am holding it slightly horizontally to the paper and creating these little jaggedy peaks so that it's not like a completely smooth mountain, so that it looks like there's pine trees growing on this mountain, like so. And this is mostly going to be covered up, so don't get too hung up on it, okay? That's why I don't care that this isn't perfectly straight here. Like, we're gonna be painting over most of it, so let's let this dry. I hope this is dry. It feels kind of moist still, but you know me, I don't have the patience to wait for that to dry. Even using a blow dryer isn't quick enough for me. So what are we gonna do now? By the way, this is inspired by Peppermintcamel. Huh, I love that name. I just looked at that now. Yeah, so now we're going to be painting pine trees, and we've got, I have so many pine tree tutorials on this channel with so many different techniques that I would encourage you to just go check them out, because I feel like everybody's got their own style of painting pine trees, and my style changes with every painting, essentially. So ooh, sorry, I just got distracted because I got a message trying to sell something online, and getting people to commit is a task in itself, and I'm really tempted to check what this message is. So I am going to do that while I am painting, and you will not know. Oh, I already saw that message. Disappointing, guys, disappointing. So I can't believe this, but my daughter, she's about 8 months old, fell asleep with no tears today. And this is gonna be pretty controversial because everyone seems to have an opinion about other people's children, but I got to a point where I could not take it anymore, and my husband has been encouraging me or us to sleep train for a while now, and I just really didn't feel comfortable with it because I felt like I was going to emotionally damage my child. But it got to a point where I was not my best self because I was so tired and chronically sleep deprived. And I was like, you know what? If it's gonna take 3 days of crying, 3 nights of crying, but then she's gonna sleep, then I just let's just try it. Because we tried a more gentler method a little bit while back, where you like frequently walk into the room and check on the baby, like so that they know that they're not alone. And that did not work on our daughter. Like, if anything, she just got more riled up and way more upset every single time that we'd walk in, because I think it's called the Ferber method, where you go in every 3 minutes, then every 5 minutes, then every 10 minutes, and then 10 minutes thereafter. But yeah, like, she would be, when we got to the 10-minute mark, like, she'd be quieting down and we'd go in, and then it would just erupt once again. So, you know, depending on your baby's temperament, like, that might work for some babies, but definitely not ours. And so we decided, like, she, I think, would best benefit from just total extinction. And the first night was actually not as bad as I thought, but I think it's just because she was exhausted. Because like, her sleep has been regressing so much over the last few months. She used to be an incredible sleeper. I was so blessed. I told everyone she's the easiest baby in the world. She was sleeping like 3 to 4 hour stretches right from newborn stage, and like she even slept through the night, I think twice before 3 months. So it was so easy, relatively speaking, obviously. And then, I don't know, just like as the months went on, I think I just reinforced really, you know, sleep associations that were not sustainable. And it got to the point where even when she was co-sleeping with me, she would be waking up multiple times and crying several hours per night. No matter how many times I fed her, no matter how many times, like, it just didn't, it wasn't working anymore. What I was doing was not working. And I was at my wit's end. So yeah, we decided to sleep train. Sorry, this is really long-winded, but I mean, I'm painting pine trees, so I guess For those of you that are bored, I'm sorry. So what was my point in all of this? Okay, so after like 3 nights or 4 nights maybe, we realized that she could put herself to sleep no problem if she had her pacifier, and if she could find her pacifier at night when it fell out of her mouth. If she couldn't find it, it was game over. Like, it was the rest of the night was compromised, basically. And so we were like, okay, well, that's not really sleep training, because she's still relying on something to fall asleep, which is the pacifier. So we decided to take away the pacifier on the 4th and the 5th night, and the 4th night went really, really well. And then last night was, I think, the 5th night. And it was just, it was rough. And we realized later, and I feel terrible for this, that she was probably teething. And that's why it went terrible. And so, yeah, now I'm at a point where I don't know what to do, because I don't want to let my child cry when she's in pain because she's teething. But in the same token, like, all the books that we're reading say that you just, like, there's always going to be some sort of setback, so you just have to push through. So I don't know what we're going to do. Also, just a side note, those video baby monitors, I always kind of laughed at that when I was pregnant. I was like, I don't need one of those. Like, why does everything have to be so high tech? But when you have a very itchy baby with eczema, oh my gosh, that's like a whole nother topic. Like, we waited so long. I think I delayed sleep training so long because my daughter was scratching herself, and we couldn't just let her, be in the crib free. That's why I was That's why I was co-sleeping so much, because I had to hold her hands physically at night so that she wouldn't scratch herself. So, that was probably just way too much information that nobody cares about, but that is currently what's happening in me life. And I have nothing else to talk about when I'm painting pine trees. I do not like this as much as the reference that I'm looking at. It's not really... Oh well. Do. So as I move towards the left here, I'm making my pine trees lighter. So I started with black, then I kind of blended into brown, and now I'm doing like a brown-yellow mix. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just following the tutorial not the tutorial, the image that I'm referencing here. Hopefully it'll all turn out in the end. I wish I made the mountain in the background darker too, because it's kind of very light at the moment. Okay, so now that we're coming to the end here, I need to blend this out in a more natural way. Same with the bottom here of all of these pine trees. They need to be darker. So I'm gonna have to pick up my black. I do want to create, like, obviously I need to do a reflection here. I really don't enjoy reflections, if I'm being honest. Because it's like it's a lot of work. But I know that I have to do it. Like, we could do kind of a rough reflection. I'm gonna flip this because it's gonna be easier for me. So I'm not gonna put in nearly the same amount of effort for the reflection, partly because a reflection, unless you have crystal clear water, it's not exactly like a perfect reflection. And then I'm kind of blending the two together, and I purposely want it to be much brighter there to make it look like a fog. So I still got one here, 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 and it turns into brown. And then it turns into yellow. So it's not exactly looking too hot right now. I don't even know what's going on over here. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to adjust my reflection a little bit because right now it looks a wee bit pathetic. So just add a tiny bit more detail than I did. I don't want to go too in depth. That's a little bit better. Okay, so it appears that that is basically as far as the reference photo that I'm looking at went. But this, it looks incomplete to me. And this random blob over here is not working for me. So what I'm gonna do, take a bit of a risk here and sort of extend it, and then hopefully it'll naturally fade in, and we can also help it fade in by taking toilet paper or a paper towel and just drying the end of the paint so it doesn't cauliflower. That is also an option. Now, this is really not the, what word am I looking for? Quality that I am used to putting out on this channel. There's something not quite right with this. I added a black line there. Hopefully I can blend some of that out into the trees. What can I do? Perhaps adding either a pine tree in the foreground here, or just a deciduous branch coming across. I'm gonna put a hairdryer to this, and then I think I will add a deciduous branch. Okay, so this should be dry. I'm gonna take brown and black, and we're gonna paint just some trees. I was gonna just paint like one branch, but I changed my mind last minute, so I'm just doing some vertical lines using brown and black, thickening that first one. And I could even, I don't want to like overcomplicate it, because I tend to do that. And say it with me, guys. Know when to stop, Julia. But I kind of like that. I like the little foreground trees there. Maybe I'll be bold and have a branch coming across the pine trees there. Okay. So one final touch that is completely optional. I've just done it in a few previous paintings and I really like it. I'm taking white watercolor because mine's very opaque, but you can equally use, what do you call it? Acrylic paint or whiteout even, and I'm just lining one part of the trunk, of each trunk with the white. Although this one was not completely dry, so that didn't really work out in my favor. So I'm gonna take black and go back over it. Okay, I think we are going to stop there with this painting. I think I would have liked to add more yellow or orange to make it colorful, but you know, for fall. But not everything has to be colorful. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next tutorial.